Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Cameron, and in today's video, I'm going to be checking in on Outlet Finance. So I made a video talking about Outlet Finance and how it worked over the summer. In that video, I went really in depth into the actual technical capabilities of Outlet Finance, how it is that they're able to accrue such high interest on their accounts. And really, I just dove deep into the world of crypto and Web3 and all of that stuff. That video did pretty well. It's gotten over 4,000 views at this point. But through that video, I've had a lot of conversations with people about Outlet Finance, what my experience has been, and whether or not it is a scam. Well, now that it's been almost 6 months since I first created my account, I feel it's given me a good amount of time to really test out some of the capabilities of Outlet Finance, some of the pros, some of the cons, and explain those to you in today's video. I'm not being paid to make this video or anything like that, so it's going to be completely unbiased, and I really just want to provide you guys a good look at what my experience has been and what you can expect if you were to create an account yourself. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So if you haven't seen my first video where I talk about the details of how Outlet Finance works, that video will be right here, and I definitely recommend watching that before checking this video out. That video will give you a pretty good insight into how Outlet Finance works because it is pretty interesting. The current interest rate that Outlet Finance offers is 9%, which is unheard of within the whole high yield savings account realm of the finance world. But that video will do a better job of explaining how they are able to do that. That video will also do a good job of explaining why, although the account acts as if it were a savings account, it's not necessarily a savings account. But the basic overview for what you need to know is that Outlet Finance offers 9% interest on their accounts. This yield does tend to deviate throughout the year. I know when I first made the video, the account was offering 9%, and then shortly after it dipped to 6%, and now for the last month, it has been back up to 9%. Regardless of whether it's 9% or 6%, it is still exponentially better than any other interest rate you're gonna get from a similar account. So I think it is definitely worth it with respect to that. Before I get into the details of this video, I need to address the fact that no, this is not financial advice. This is simply my opinion. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt and definitely do your own research to make sure you're making the best decision for yourself. So first, we're going to go over some concerns that I have with the app and the service, and then also some things that people brought to my attention through the comments on my YouTube video. The first thing that I thought was kind of funny is that a lot of people were actually commenting on that initial video somewhat upset at me. These people had kind of seen Outlet as just a best kept secret, and we're definitely reaping the benefits. One person even commented that they were getting 13% interest annually, and they were using that interest to pay off their car payments. It was definitely pretty interesting to hear that people had been taking such advantage of the app, and it also just kind of opened my eyes to just how significant that 13% or even 9% interest per year really is. So this isn't really a major concern, but this just shows that, potentially as more people become aware of the app, the interest rates can deviate. So although it might be currently offering 9%, that might not necessarily be what it is in the future. But I also did read that Outlet guarantees a 6% rate, so it will always be above 6%, but of course, they can't guarantee a 9%, 13%, or anything above that. The second biggest concern that I really saw through a lot of YouTube comments was the fact that Outlet is not FDIC insured. And in my first video, I went pretty in depth into why this is. And because Outlet isn't a bank, they technically and legally aren't allowed to be FDIC insured. FDIC insurance is only offered to banks, and the way Outlet Finance is set up and runs, it is not a bank. But as I explained in that video, Outlet Finance does use a third-party insurance provider. They also specialize in the kind of crypto industry, which I didn't even know you really could do. But it seems that they work with a lot of other very similar services and apps in this kind of segment. The moral of the story is that although the insurance on the account is not FDIC insured, it still does provide just as much coverage as that FDIC insurance would through a bank. The third concern is something that I've experienced as well as a lot of people in the comment section, and that is that the servers on Outlet Finance occasionally go out. Whenever this does happen, you always receive an email in advance alerting you that the servers may be out, but it is nothing to be concerned about. They're simply doing some maintenance. And although this might mean you might not have access to your account for that specific period of time, this always is very short and is always fixed very quickly. This is very similar to a lot of other apps. I mean, all of us kind of have had that experience with Robinhood where, it just isn't loading. So I think this is kind of just a norm within apps in the kind of finance sector. They're so new and have a lot of high demand that they're kind of always trying to find ways to improve. And that's really all this is. When these servers go out, it's really just the developers working on the maintenance to ensure that the app in the future can run as smoothly as possible. The last concern that I've experienced while I've been using the app is that there are a few bugs. For example, when you navigate to the part of the app where it's supposed to show how much you've earned through references or commission, whenever I click on that, the app just closes out. And that's kind of concerning just because I would like to know kind of how much I've earned through that. But realistically, it's not the end of the world. It's not like a major thing that's keeping me from withdrawing or depositing money. I don't know if it's a common thing throughout all users or just me, but I did feel the need to address that in this video just for full transparency. So now that we've addressed some of my concerns with the app, now it is time to talk about some of the advantages and the benefits that I've experienced. The first is that I've had absolutely no issues with deposits or withdrawals from my account. Whenever I do make a deposit into the account, which frankly has only happened once or twice, it does take about 2 to 5 business days for the actual money to be transferred from my bank account into the outlet account for it to start earning interest. This is a pretty common practice with respect to pretty much any finance or investment app. I know whenever I transfer money from my checking account to my Fidelity investment accounts, it does take a while for that money to actually be in the account. Some of these more established companies are able to allow you to start trading that money right away, but that's not the case with Outlet yet. So I understand that having the ability to make deposits and withdraw from your account is not necessarily a benefit. It's simply something that should be expected. But because I saw that this was a major concern for a lot of people as to whether it was a scam or not, of how easy it would be to make these transactions, I just wanted to say I have never had any issues with them whatsoever. The other advantage that I need to mention that I think is pretty obvious is that I have been earning a lot of interest. So when I first deposited the money into the account, it was at 9%, and then it dipped down to 6% for a little bit. Now it's back up to 9%. If you remember from that first video, I initially deposited just $500 into the account. And if you do the math for the amount of time that I actually had the money sitting in the account, it equates right to about 9% compounded for the year. Also, I think the app does a really good job of showing you exactly how much you're earning. I know with some of the other accounts, maybe through a bank, they try to kind of hide the actual rate that you're getting on your account. This is mostly because the rates that traditional banks are offering are terrible. I was looking again before I started this video, and all the traditional major banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, they offer about 0.01% on their savings account, which last time I checked is no way to really accrue any real money. But on the Outlet Finance app, it does a really good job of showing you projected earnings. You can see here on my iPad, it shows daily projected earnings, weekly, monthly, yearly. They really break it down so you understand exactly how much money you can expect to earn with the current rates. Also, while the money accrues, it does actually pay out the money on the first of every month. This is really nice just because it doesn't mean the money is just accruing, it actually goes into your account on the first of the month. This means that if you want, you can withdraw that money, make a car payment, whatever it is that you choose on that first day of the month. Also, you can see here, I have contributed additional money since that initial $500 a few months ago. This transfer really only went into place last Friday, so it hasn't really had time to make any impact on my account, but I do plan on continue contributing at least a portion of my income into this account each month. Some other pros and advantages that I've experienced through these last few months of having an account with Outlet Finance include the fact that I have honestly seen a lot more publicity about the app since I made that video. When I first made that video, there really weren't too many other videos about it. If there were, they were actually published about a year before. So I think in that year time frame between October of 2020 and August of 2021, the developers and Outlet overall was just able to make a lot of improvements to the app. And since I've made my video, I've seen a lot more discussions about the app. I think this has allowed for a lot more users to join and contribute, which overall allows the whole flow of the money to work a lot better and more seamlessly. I saw on Outlet's website, they said that they have 37,000 accounts currently on their app. Also, I remember when I had the conversation with Patrick, the founder of the app at the time, during August, he said that they currently had around $700 in assets under management through Outlet Finance. This means that the accumulation of the value in all those accounts equals $700 million. So that, again, in my opinion, at least shows the legitimacy and shows that a lot of people are trusting outlet finance with their money. And finally, the last advantage is just the fact that, through my account with Outlet, through the interest that I'm earning, it's 20 times better at least than the current leading high yield savings account. I remember back in the day when Ally and Wealthfront were offering great rates, but in recent months, because of the Fed decreasing their interest rates, it's really made these banks have a lot harder job offering these higher rates. I think Ally is currently offering 0.5% on their high yield savings accounts, and they are at the leading end of all those high yield banks. As I mentioned before, those traditional savings accounts through Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, those are all at 0.01% interest per year. So that is just absolutely pathetic. Also, just in the last few months, we've seen a lot of volatility in the financial markets. Some days, yeah, great, I'm up a lot of money. Some days I'm down even more. So it's been kind of nice to know that the money that I've invested with Outlet is just going to grow. I don't really have to worry about losing any money on a given day. And I think that's why I plan on kind of contributing a little bit more money in the future to my Outlet account, just to manage some of the volatility, because the majority of my money is currently tied up in stocks and investments. The final pro of Outlet that I kind of just wanted to mention now is that Outlet currently has a wait list for debit cards. I think this is really interesting. No, I am not currently on the wait list myself, but I think it's pretty promising that Outlet is really looking to roll out other product lines, other services to their customers. This means that they're really looking to the future and they're really trying to expand, and they're not just complacent with where they currently are. I think anytime a company really has those long-term growth outlooks, it's just promising, and it's something that I am excited to be a part of. So with that being said, that goes through my entire list of the pros, the cons, the advantages, the disadvantages of having an account with Outlet Finance. As I said at the beginning of the video, overall, it has been a great experience with Outlet. Yes, there are some things that could be improved, but overall, the app is certainly moving in the right direction and has done everything that it said it would do. If you're interested in creating an account yourself, I've put a link in the description for you to get started. I think if you actually sign up through that link, you get $5. So definitely check that out. But as I mentioned before, this is all just my opinion. This is not financial advice. Definitely do some more research before you decide to invest any money in any account. Well, that's going to wrap up the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you have an Outlet Finance account? If so, what has your experience been like? Also, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here at Galbraith if you have any questions at all. I'd love to answer them. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.